With your skills lesson for today, let's take a look at what we're going to be learning. Students will blend and segment 2-syllable words with up to 7 sounds. Students will review pronouns, and we will read the story The Picnic by the River and answer comprehension questions. So remember, when we are counting syllables, we can either clap or put your hand to your chin and use your chin dip. And when we are counting the sounds in the word, you're touching your finger to your thumb. Let's get started. Repeat after me. Classroom. Classroom. How many syllables? Right, 2. Now get your fingers ready. Let's sound out the word classroom and see how many sounds we hear. You ready? Let's go. K, U, A, S, U, M. Classroom. How many sounds are in the word classroom? Right, there are 7 sounds. Now let's count the syllables of the next word. Cardboard. Do it with me. Cardboard. Now let's count the sounds we hear in cardboard. Ready? Touch your fingers to your thumb. K, R, D, B, or D. Cardboard. How many sounds did we hear in the word cardboard? Right, we heard 6 sounds. Let's count the syllables first of the next word. Pancake. Now do it with me. Pancake. How many syllables were in the word pancake? Right, there were 2. Now let's sound out the word pancake, touching our fingers to our thumb. P, A, N, K, A, K. Pancake. How many sounds did you hear at the word pancake? Right, you heard 6 sounds. Now let's do the next one. Backpack. Do it with me. Backpack. How many syllables did you hear in the word backpack? Right, you heard 2 syllables. Now let's count the sounds. Make sure you touch your fingers to your thumb. B, A, K, P, A, K. Backpack. How many sounds did you hear in the word backpack? Right, we heard 6 sounds. Okay, and the last one, we're going to count the syllables first. Hometown. Say it with me. Hometown. How many syllables were in the word hometown? Right, there were 2. Now let's sound it out together. H, O, M, T, Ow, hometown. How many sounds are in the word hometown? Right, there were 6. Now we're going to do pronoun practice. Kate went on a trip. She was sad at the start of the trip. So we're going to underline the word she. And who was sad at the start of the trip? Right, it was Kate. So we're going to circle Kate and make a little line because she is referring to Kate. Let's check out the next sentence. Kate met Jack in the coin shop. He was an expert on coins. Let's underline the pronoun. What is the pronoun in the second sentence? Right, he. It says he was an expert on coins. Who was an expert on coins? Circle who they're talking about. Right, they were talking about Jack. In many instances, we can replace a noun with another word, he, to take over the place of the noun Jack. Now the last sentence. Kate found a coin. It was made of silver. What is the pronoun in this sentence? Right, we have it, and who or what are they referring to as it? Right, the coin. Now you're going to take out your paper, activity page 7.1, and you're going to write your name and date on it just like me. If I'm going too fast, make sure you pause the video. I want to see neat handwriting when I get your pictures of your work. Number 1. Kate is 9. She wrote a book. Well, the first thing we need to do is underline the pronoun, which they did for us, which is she. And then they pointed or made an arrow to Kate because she is referring to Kate. And they wrote the pronoun on the line. Number 2, Jack has a shop. He sells coins. What is the pronoun in that word? Right, he. And they're referring to Jack. So you're going to write the word he on the line. Kate went on a trip. It was fun. What is the pronoun? Right. It was the word it, and it, they are referring to the trip. Number 4, Kate found a coin. It is Spanish. What is the pronoun in that sentence? Right, it's the word it, because it is referring to the coin. Now on this page, we are going to add our own pronouns that make sense to complete the sentence. So, number 1 they did for you, and they underlined Kate is what we're going to make a pronoun for. So Kate went on a trip. Blank had fun. So if we're referring to Kate and a pronoun, we're going to say she had fun. Number 2, Jack likes the coin. Jack likes blank. The coin is the word that's underlined. So we need to make a pronoun for the word coin. What could we put? Right, we can put it. Number 3, was Jack Nan's pal? Yes, blank was Nan's pal. The word Jack is underlined. What pronoun could we use to replace Jack in the second sentence? Right, yes, he was Nan's pal. Number 4, Kate made a book. Blank wrote the words. Here we're going to put a pronoun for Kate because she's underlined. What pronoun could we use? Right, she. Number 5, Nan has a cabin. Blank is in the West. What pronoun could I use for cabin that's underlined? Right, the word it. Max is a kid. Blank is 9. Max is the word underlined, and we need to write a pronoun for Max. What word could we use? Right, we could use the word he. Introduction to the story. Today's story is about some surprise visitors that show up at Grace's family picnic. The story is called The Picnic by the River. Let's go over our vocabulary. Picnic, a meal eaten outdoors. For example, my favorite place for a picnic is at the park. Brushed, move slightly and quickly. For example, the cookie crumbs off the table. Glanced, looked very quickly. For example, we glance out the window to see if it was snowing. Picnic by the river. Last summer, the Spencers had a picnic by the river. They had a picnic basket filled with food. It was stuffed with all sorts of good things: chicken wings, ham, grapes, chips, and cupcakes. Mr. Spencer set the picnic basket down. Grace and Jill went for a swim in the river. After their swim, the children raced back to the spot where the picnic basket was. When they got there, there were ants marching down the side of the picnic basket. The ants were marching off with some of the food. The Spencers had set their basket down next to the center of a big anthill. "Yikes!" shouted Grace in a loud voice. "Who asked those ants to this picnic?" Mr. Spencer picked up the picnic basket and brushed off the ants. Much of the food was in plastic bags, so it was safe from the ants. Grace and Jill rinsed off the grapes after they brushed off the rest of the ants. The Spencers sat down and ate their picnic lunch. This time, they sat far from the center of the anthill. After lunch, Mr. Spencer asked, "Should we pack up our stuff and get back to the farm?" "Not yet," said Grace, and glanced back at the anthill. She smiled and slipped some bits of cupcake and ham into her pocket. Then she ran to the anthill. She set the bits of cupcake and ham on the ground next to the anthill. "There," she said, "that will be lunch for the ants. I think ants are cool when they are not crawling in our basket." All right, let's go over our discussion questions. What did Grace discover when she returned from swimming? Right, ants are marching on the picnic basket. Number 2, where had the Spencers set down their picnic basket? Right, they had placed the picnic basket next to the center of an anthill. Number 3, why did Grace set up bits of cupcake and ham on the ground next to the anthill? Right. Grace wanted the ants to have lunch too, and she felt bad for the ants. What does this tell you about Grace? What kinds of words would you use to describe her? Right. This tells us that Grace is nice and caring because she wants to make sure the ants have lunch too. We could use the words kind, generous, thoughtful, nice, etc. to describe Grace. This completes today's skills lesson. Great job today, guys. Make sure you send a picture of your work to your teacher, and we'll see you tomorrow.